Amuna gibili ben. Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Nnamdi Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Nnamdi Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Uponu ya santa, ijuku ya santa. Omume ya tanta, bureni ya komputa. Uponu ya tanta, ijuku ya tanta. Omume ya tanta, bureni ya komputa. Nnamdi Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Nnamdi Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Uponu ya tanta, ijuku ya tanta. Omume ya tanta, bureni ya komputa. Ona newe nyawebe, ona naso yasuba. Ona newe nyawebe, bureni ya komputa. Ona newe nyawebe, ona naso yasuba. Ona newe nyawebe, bureni ya komputa. Nnamdi Kanu bamai changwa chineke yelo mudafa godo zobo dani. Amuna gibili ben. Uponu ya tanta, ijuku ya tanta. Omume ya tanta, bureni ya komputa.
Mr. Shaul, my lead, Shaul was supposed to be here, but because of illness, urgent need for his illness, he couldn't join us today. So we wish him everything good. And then we also welcome the Honorable Barrister, the attorney of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. So you're highly welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Rendition. It's a pleasure being with you.
All right, sir. Thank you. And we are starting. I am going to start with you, sir. Barrister, let me first congratulate you for getting a verdict for the abuse inflicted on you by the Nigerian government. 2 years ago, sir, your ancestral home was stormed by a team of security agents, but on December 2nd, 2021, the Federal High Court in Awka delivered a judgment in your favor. So congratulations, sir, once again.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It's all mine. I appreciate it so much, so immensely.
All right, sir. Sir, the issue of extraordinary rendition seems to be the point of contention in the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And from the information that we have gathered, you filed a case on the issue of jurisdiction. And at the last hearing, it seems that the issue of jurisdiction has not been resolved. What's your take, sir?
Thank you so much, Mr. Robinson. I believe I'm correct. We filed an amended charge. They filed an amended charge against our client, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah.
7-count amended charge was filed on Saturday night. Shortly after, he was few months after, he was abducted in Kenya and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria. So the part of the cardinal point in which we are raising the objection to the decision of the court to proceed with the trial is we are challenging the manner in which, first of all, he was abducted in Kenya and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria, which process is in clear violation of Article 9 and 14 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. So first of all, what is to be established in the first place? Was there extraordinary rendition? Was there an abduction in the first place? Yes. Was there an extraordinary rendition in the second place? Yes. Is there any violation of laws in that respect? Yes. So, and we have been able to itemize the laws, as I mentioned, and also the OAU Convention on the Prevention and Combating of Terrorism. which is the law guiding the procedure protocol for extradition proceedings. So these are arguments we have advanced and comprehensively canvassed in our written submission before the court. So this is from the first issue we listed for historic determination in challenging the jurisdiction of the court to proceed with the trial. So, and also we also delve into the charge, the empty. Am I with you?
Yes. Yeah, okay. We can hear. So go on.
We also discuss exhaustively the watery and the empty nature of the 7-count amended charge filed against our client. So these are secondary part of the objections we raised before on the jurisdiction of the court to hear the proceed trial. So I may also put a caveat in the course of this course that we have submitted our objection before the court,
okay,
a court of competent decision, challenging in substance the powers and duration of the court to proceed with hearing. And under our laws and ethics, we are precluded, the lawyers in the matter, on delving substantially into the argument before the court, because if you go well much into the argument before the court, or argument you can pass before the court, you may be cited for contempt. So, but having that notwithstanding, we may have to lead an introductory part of what was discussed in argument, which hasn't been had. And I believe the argument is not only competent, but I believe we are of the firm conviction that the court will held it. So it's very unfortunate. Let me say this, that should be the first time I'm saying this to the world. You may surprise you to note that throughout the process filed by the federal government, the 7-count amended charge, they filed before the court after our client was abducted in Kenya and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria and brought before the court on 29th of June, 2021. And also in their response to our objection, we filed challenging the decision of the court to hear this, proceed with the charge. They never mentioned in any of the paragraphs of their counter affidavit or even address in support that our client, the venue for if our client was arrested in Kenya, they carefully avoided it because they understand the implication of that. So they carefully avoided mentioning where he was abducted. Even where we raised issue concerning that in our objection, they didn't even address it. They didn't address issues, that cardinal issue of extraordinary rendition we mentioned in the argument. Till to date, they've not mentioned the open court. Even when we're raising it in our submission before the court, they avoided going into it. So that's why we are following them in many fronts. Of course, we are aware an action has been maintained against them in Kenya. An action has been filed against the Kenya government, especially Nigerian government, and also all the parties involved in this horrendous act. So we are not leaving any stone unturned to ensure that the infraction is addressed. Thank you.
So, yeah. May I still ask you another question because it is still related to the answer you've given to us right now?
Go on.
In as much as the Nigerian government continues to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Nigerian courts, it all means, like you said, they are breaching the law of the country and the law of every other country where they brought Nnamdi Kanu to, because they are acting on an illegal background. But then, how do you wish to approach this issue? Are you going to go, what is your next move if they continue to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Are you going to go to any other place, a higher court where you can get jurisdiction?
Let me correct this impression, because a few days ago I was asked about similar question by an interviewer. So let me correct this impression.
Right.
No trial has commenced Nnamdi Kanu's case.
Okay.
And they are being careful about it. Trial has not commenced, and I can assure you he can be tried. Because
you can assure
he can be tried.
Okay.
No trial will go. So we have filed necessary processes in court to challenge the powers of the court to try him. So we are still at the preliminary stage. And the court is under compelling obligation to hear all those pending applications, particularly the one that has to do with the decision of the court, because the court must hear it, then determine the pronouncement on it, one way or the other. And if the court deliver judgment one way or the other, and we feel that the judgment delivered is not in our favor, we can ventilate, challenge the decision of court at the Court of Appeal. We have other options to adopt. But what we are saying is that we have solid ground for objecting to the trial. So trial has not commenced in the first place. Once, of course, again, the matter has been set for hearing of this objection on 18th of January. And once objection is ruled in our favor, that will automatically be an end to that trial, to hit 2020 proceedings. And you has to go. So trial has not commenced, because it's only when the court hear this objection and rule that the court will assume jurisdiction. At this point in time, we are saying, my Lord, you have no jurisdiction to hear this case, to proceed with the hearing. So until when it is heard, the objection is heard and determined, then the court will now say, okay, by virtue of XYZ reason that I have jurisdiction, or by virtue of XYZ reason, I have no jurisdiction, I wash my hand off, please, and discharge accordingly, and strike out the charge. So let me just state, trial hasn't commenced. We are still at the preliminary stage. Of course, you know the system. You know that under conventional trial, under an organized society, or if it's facing a conventional trial, proceedings, by now, you must have gone far on the proceedings. But of course, you know the nature of the case we are into. Nnamdi Kanu is a political prisoner. It's a matter the state has interest on. It's a matter I believe to some extent there's an influence on the state. So, and we are managing it. We are being circumspect of all those interests, all those interests and influence. The matter. So it's not a conventional case. You go to court, file an application, the court will hear and dispose of it immediately without wasting time. Under normal circumstances, we shouldn't be doing this. Shouldn't be romancing at this point, at this stage. This is a person that was brought to extraordinary rendition to Nigeria on the 26th of June, brought to court on 29th. And will file promptly our objection to the charge. Under normal circumstances, they are supposed to have had this objection and dispose of it. And it is more so when the Neighborhood laws, ACJA and the Ministry of Criminal Justice Act, and also the Federal High Court Practice Direction, we are all established on the institutional nature of the proceedings of this nation. So it's provided for the hearing, day-to-day hearing of this case. But it's not being done. It's not being done. So priority is being given to this kind of case, a case that borders on some allegations brought by SSS. So, but it's not being observed. That's the point. So, so I wanted to understand the circumstance we found ourselves. And within that circumstance, we are doing all we can to ensure that justice is done to our client. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You just mentioned the issue of influence, and that prompts me now to, I would like to ask you, Mr. Starter. Nnamdi Kanu, can you hear me, Mr. Starter?
I can hear you clearly.
All right. So Nnamdi Kanu left for Kenya on a British passport, with a British passport, and then he didn't go to Kenya. That's the information we gathered, with a Nigerian passport. And even though he did not go to Kenya with the Nigerian passport, he was kidnapped and taken to Nigeria. As a British citizen, perhaps you can help us to find out or to figure out why Britain is so silent on the issue of the extraordinary rendition of their citizen, Nnamdi Kanu.
First of all, I'd just like to say thank you for welcoming on this platform. I think basically because the UK government doesn't want anybody to know. Once the British government accepts that a British citizen has been kidnapped, tortured, and extraordinary rendition, then they have to do something about it. And I think people need to look at the implications for Britain should Biafra be free. That's the crux of the matter. If you have a British citizen who anywhere in the world is detained illegally, or even legally. If someone commits an offence in another country and they're in court, they're incarcerated, we would see it on our news. And I can tell you now, from the second that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu returned to Nigeria, there has been nothing. The main media hasn't even given it 30 seconds of media time. So you have to question why that is. I mean, we have the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, that's paid for by taxpayers' money. That should be an impartial media outlet.
I was going to ask you that question though, but because you have started, you can go ahead and explain to us what is the public opinion concerning the ongoing killing of Biafrans among the British citizens. What is the opinion? What do they do? What do they think?
Well, quite frankly, the opinion of the British people, especially the white British, is nothing whatsoever, because they're totally unaware of anything that's going on. We had possibly, when the NSARS massacre took place, I think the BBC gave it 30 seconds, maybe. They actually broadcast 30 seconds of footage from the Lekki tollgate. And yet in the same week, there was a protest in Myanmar where one protester was shot. And that was on our mainstream news on all the channels for at least 2 weeks. And again, you have to question why. Nigeria is a Commonwealth country. Myanmar isn't. If anything like that happened in any other Commonwealth country, it would be on our news every day for months. And yet there isn't 1 second of news. So the media in this country, the mainstream media, has been compromised. There's no two ways about it. And yet, as I say, the BBC should be impartial. It's not impartial. BBC have got reporters all over the world. They've got reporters all over Nigeria. And yet nothing whatsoever is reported. So in answer to your question, what do the British public feel about what's happening? They have no idea. They have no clue. I talk to people regularly about Biafra and what's happening, mainly the elderly people and even the colleagues who I work with. They haven't got a clue. They've no idea. They've no idea. And they're absolutely gobsmacked, to be perfectly honest with you, when I mention about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being a British citizen. They cannot believe that they don't know about a British citizen being kidnapped and extraordinary rendition. So unless the media broadcasts what's going on, unfortunately, the British public will have no clue whatsoever. And that's basically, that is why the British government do not want broadcast of the issues of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and widely the issues of Biafra as well. If you remember during the Biafran War 67 to 70, the majority of the people who were protesting in London were white British. They weren't black.
I was going to ask you that question because an expert told me that for the issue of Biafra to get escalated internationally, that the Biafran must get the citizens involved in their protest, in their agitation.
Yeah,
that's essentially the reason why I was asking you this question, and that reminds us. I will ask your colleague Mazi Kanu Takano. Mazi Kanu Takano, can you hear me very well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we are now going to talk about this from a historical point of view. I would like you to relate this issue to that of 1967 program and the genocide perpetrated on the Biafran that nobody heard, that nobody ever discussed. Do you see similarities in the media coverage of the Biafran, the genocide perpetrated on the Biafran, which Britain was essentially part of it? and what is going on currently, given the fact that the incident and the killing of Biafra and the abduction is not reported, just like we had Mr. Starter explain. Do you see similarity in both circumstances, sir?
Thank you very much for having me in this program in the first place. My name is Kanu, and welcome all our viewers and listeners. First and foremost, from what Mr. Starter said, it's not different. Let me start with BBC. BBC is an agent of Nigerian government. This is the machinery they are using to operate. When atrocities are being committed anywhere in Biafra land, they find it difficult to report. I said this many times. I declined BBC interview when my brother was renditioned to Nigeria. BBC London, I declined them interview because of their activities, because of the way they reason, because of the way they report the issues that are affecting Biafrans. I said, no, I won't do that as a result of protest. Whenever it has to do with anything that will suppress Biafrans, that is the time you see BBC, they will take the leading role. I can tell you, days back, weeks back, months back, when the Fulanis were killing us, the jihadist headsmen, the only thing that a British newspaper or British reporters would do was to come out and say that there is a clash between the headers and the farmers. And in the right context, who are the headers? How old are they? And how old are the farmers? We are talking about young men that are up to 30 years and above, attacking men and women that are more than 70 years old and above. And the only way to use, the only adjective that will be used is that clash. I and our consultants, let Jonathan Cooper, petition BBC on that note. They did not do anything. So this is what they do. When they kill us, they come out. There was one incident that happened. Let me remind the people, that was in BBC Channel 4 radio in London. The people that started with this notion that IPOB has a militant group called ESN. That publication came out on 7th of August. I tweeted and I confronted them. Why am I saying this? They can only talk about ESN. They can only talk about IPOB because their dream has been to proscribe IPOB, which was there in the UK Foreign Office records, that IPOB is a terrorist group. Until we went and fought, it was removed. This is the kind of job BBC is doing. It's very unfortunate that the people who are in the position, or more especially, do I say, the British High Commissioner does not, I repeat, does not report the issues of what is happening to Nigeria, what is happening in Nigeria to the British ministerial channel, to tell them exactly what is going on. They don't do that. They are always there to protect the Fulanis who are killing innocent people. I can say with every dismay, we know that Nigeria has no president. And the president we are seeing, the person we are seeing today running Nigeria is Katrina Line, the British High Commissioner. She is the one in charge. She is the one doing all this work. She is the one visiting one state to another. She is the one coordinating. That's why she cannot tell the British people, the British government, that what is happening in Nigeria. When it comes to evil, they are looking for Biafra because they knew actually what they did. The extraordinary rendition we are talking about, they knew that it took place in Kenya. But you know what is funny? It's two Commonwealth countries that rendition. That should be more of a concern to the UK government.
Okay.
To the British Parliament.
In your assessment, sir, would you say that it is not even Nigeria that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu but Britain? Would you say that?
No, this is not what I'm saying. What it means is that there is no way the right hand will not know what the left hand is doing. It's not possible. That's my own notion. Because if not, the British government would have gone hard on Nigeria. Because what they did was they committed an international crime, which should not in any way must have taken place. Because Nnamdi Kanu is not living in shadows. Nnamdi Kanu is there where people can see him. If they think that they wanted him, they would have gone through the right process in this tradition. But they didn't do that. So going at the back to have kidnapped him, and they brought him back to Nigeria, and the authorities are keeping calm. I think that is the biggest crime. That, in fact, that shows, in the other way we can interpret it, probably that they know what happened. If not, they would have gone hard on Nigeria and said, hey, this is our citizen, return it back from where you picked him, and then follow the due process. If at all Nigeria has the case with Martin Nnamdi Kanu.
You
This
remember,
is the thing. And
you remember Umaru Diko of 1985, right? His case was essentially, I think that was December Buhari was involved in the effort to kidnap Umaru Diko and bring him to Nigeria to face accusation or trial of mismanagement of fund. And Britain, I mean, they did it with a couple of guys from Israel. That's what the news said. And Britain purported that effort, and they went heavily hard on Nigeria. In fact, Britain broke relationship with Nigeria for almost 3 months, if I'm correct. And they were quite hard on Nigeria for attempting to take a British resident, not citizen. I mean, Umaru Diko doesn't have British citizenship like Nnamdi Kanu. He was residing there for a while, and then when this happened, Britain went hard on Nigeria. And it is quite, I mean, it's disturbing to see that a British citizen was kidnapped in Kenya, and brought to Nigeria, subjected under this type of torture, giving him one cloth for the whole month he have stayed there. And a lot of all this thing is going on. The country that called themselves a civilized nation is not doing anything. The country that other countries look onto to put standard of what is civilization and not, is keeping quiet. So this is a very troubling situation. And I would like to go back to our guest, Onigwe Vitus.
I want to say something before. I want to say something before you continue. I want you to
all right, go ahead.
You made mention about Umaru Diko, the incident that took place.
Yes.
They were claiming that this happened in UK soil, and they intervened. And at the time, there was a diplomatic row between Nigeria and the UK. And the issue of Nnamdi Kanu is something that did not happen in the UK. It happened in a third country. He wasn't traveling with UK. He wasn't traveling with Nigerian passport. He traveled with UK passport, and it was taken from Kenya and rendition to Nigeria, and everybody's keeping count. That is what is very, very disturbing, because we can't sweep this under the carpet. We cannot. We can't. And if BBC could not report this issue, like a prestigious newspaper like UK Guardian newspaper carried it, the Sunday Times, we gave them an exclusive interview on this very issue. BBC could not report. The only thing BBC will be able to report, the only thing they are interested in, is just to come up to report IPOB has a militant group. When they are aware that we are being killed day and night, but these same jihadists that they are supporting. My question is, if they are pointing fingers on IPOB, why is it that they've not done anything to proscribe these jihadists that are coming from the foothill of Futajalon to enter into to cause mayhem? Why is it that they have not been proscribed or labeled as terrorists? That is the question. Is there anything they are benefiting from it? That is the question. Is there anything UK governments are benefiting from it? So they and do the needful, and they should stop playing double standard game. It was something they did. Their friends were killed, and they are sweeping it under the carpet. Why they don't want to involve themselves actively in the issue of extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a very simple message. There are two things there. It's a two-faced coin, no matter how you toast it. It's Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the face of referendum and is the face of Biafra. They cannot run away. They cannot run away from it. If you're talking about why he was arrested, you must have to mention Biafra, and that is why he is doing what he's doing today. That is why we because we think Nigeria has failed everybody. And if we want to remain in Nigeria, it should be our responsibility collectively to go back to our various kindreds, to various ethnic groups, and decide what kind of Nigeria we want. Not the one that was being imposed by the colonial.
Thank you. So, Mazi Uchenna Obilo. You are here because he jumped in for Mr. Shaul. I wanted to ask him a question concerning the relationship between the Igbos and the Israelites from a historical point of view. And then if this has gone so far that the Israel, I mean, what is the effort? Is there any effort going on there for them to support the agitation of the Biafran? Because there seems to be a strong relationship, at least in the issue of genocide. One would say that the genocide against the Igbo is the second genocide and the least most discussed genocide, and that of Israel is the first most discussed genocide. Do you know anything about the Israelites' intention or interest in helping the Biafrans to secure their independence or their self-reliance?
Thank you very much, my brother, for inviting me in. It's true that I am sitting for our brother Shaul, and I'm praying for God Almighty to heal him so that he will be able to join you guys whenever you guys call him for such occasion next time.
Yeah, he promised that he will join whenever he's healthy again.
Yeah, I want to thank all our guests. I want to thank everybody that is here. And before I go any further, I just want to give honor to whom honor is due. And he is no other person but our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He is the one that paved the way for us to be discussing, to be doing what we are doing today. Look at me. I'm just nobody, but today I am discussing about Biafra. It is because of the love we have for Biafra and for hunger of freedom that we all have. We are doing it because we want to be free. We are doing it because we are people that these people have disenfranchised. They have taken everything away from us, and we say, no, we want our freedom. Going to your question, I'm so sorry for going around and around. I just want to say to our leader, he is one that paved the way for us to be discussing the way we are discussing today. To your question, you asked if I know anything about the Israeli people. Now, I want you to be clear. Are you talking about?
They have interest in helping the Biafra to secure the type of freedom they enjoy today. The Israelites went through the same stress. They were killed in millions here in Germany, and a lot of places in Germany here you still have stones and designs to show that this person was kidnapped and was killed or hanged, a woman or a man. You see things like that here in Germany. So it is not hidden that the Jewish were killed. Now, there's supposed to be a relationship, at least in terms of feeling. If you see that if you are essentially a dark-skinned person, you don't see another dark-skinned person go through stress, go through difficulty without having that feeling. That is natural. And it happens to the same way in human relationship, that if you go through serious pain, serious difficulty, sometimes you don't want another person to go through that. Apart from that, there is a myth concerning the Israelites and the Igbos, that they are actually of the same ground, that the Igbos are essentially the lost tribe of the Israelites. These are things that we discuss, that people discuss every now and then in the Biafra land. Now the question is, having known about this relationship and Nnamdi Kanu's establishment of a relationship in Israel? Is there any way they are discussing the issue of helping the Biafrans? That does not necessarily mean they are going to come with weapon or whatsoever, but moral support of any kind. Do you know anything as such?
Now, what I'm going to say to you is, as you know, Shaul is one of them. And you know our sister, her name is Rachel. She is one of them. And there are so many other people also. You know, Israel is not an English-speaking nation. You know, I want to bring it like you're asking the question. Some people will be listening for me to say something that the government is doing. I'm not going to that route right now. I'm going through because I listen to what our brother is saying, and I listen to the question you ask him, and that is where I want to go through right now. You see, Israel is not speaking. Yes, it's true that people are speaking English right now, but English is not their number one language here. They speak their language. And for you to get information across, you have to get so many people to understand exactly what you're doing and understand the fight that you're fighting. That is where we are right now. This is the role that we are playing to make people know and make them understand exactly what we are suffering as a people. As a matter of fact, I, as number one person here, if I have so many people that I've talked to about Biafra, I ask them, do you know anything about Biafra? Of course, they do know about Biafra. They will tell you the story about Biafra. I'm talking about here in Israel. When you meet an elderly person, ask him about Biafra. They do know. They know about Biafra. They will tell you the story about Biafra during the 60s. How they saw children dying of hunger and the rest of them. But right now, they don't know what is going on. So it is our duty to let them know. It is our duty to bring all the story to them. Of course, today you can see our news is not being carried by the media. Everything that is happening to us as a people is being blanketed by the media. They don't want to show it to the world. They don't want the people to know because they are hiding something. If you will go back, because our people say, if something happened or you want to fix something that happened, you have to go to the beginning. You know, I just don't want to speak Igbo. I am trying as hard as possible that I will bring it to each and every one of us so that we will understand exactly what I'm trying to say. When something happens and you want to fix it, you go back to the beginning. When you go back,
that's an Igbo adage. Say it in Igbo first, then we can translate. Say it first in Igbo, please.
All right. Ihe me or mmiri gbaro yiga nishimiri eba igeshi were. That is exactly I'm going to leave it. So,
all right.
During the days of this man that was sent from Britain to come to Biafra land, he was the one that came to Biafra land. When he went to the north, they said to him, people across that Niger River, they are the lost tribe of Israel. From there, he knows who we are. And he came in, he found out everything about us as a people. And he came to agree with what they said to him, that we are the lost tribe of Israel. And they came in. They try to do everything they do to destroy us. As you can see, during the war, they try to destroy our life. But our leader, our eternal leader, Odumegwu Ojukwu, try everything he can to save our life. But people and their media, they tell different stories. Now, they destroy everything about us. They say we have no history as a people. They said we have no history. They destroy all they can. They stole all they can. Whatever they cannot destroy, they stole it away from us. And we are here as a people today. But where I'm driving at is, We as a people, we as Biafrans, we are the same people with Israel. Israel, that is the people of Israel and Biafra, they are the same people. But the difference there is the language is what is separating us. Apart from that, we are the same people. It doesn't matter how, and it doesn't matter what they say.
So
that is
the IPOB leadership, they're bringing the information to the doors of the Israelites to give them, to create this awareness that is so much needed.
I will not want to go that route. I will say to you that so many things is happening.
Okay.
And the leadership are doing everything they can, trying in every way possible to make sure that our leader is released. This is exactly where I'm going to hold it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we are going to discuss this also on the basis of the IPOB presence in the world. How does this, how can this affect the struggle? But I think this is the question I would like to ask the Honorable Barrister Ejiofor. The IPOB presence in the world is reported as over 108 countries. In this regard, Biafra seems to have an advantage that other countries do not have, because some of them hold strategic position in the country where they live. For example, in Britain, there are names you can call like Chinenye, Omukwe, Chika, Omonna, etc. In Italy, you also have an Igbo man that is in the Italian parliament. And the ICC boss happens to, Ebua Osiji happens to be an Igbo man. In the United States too, you have a whole lot of some Igbo or some Biafrans that is said to be the mayor of their city. So the question here is, in as much as this the Igbos or the Biafrans have this upper hand everywhere in the country, are they using it effectively in the struggle? I would like to know, Barrister, do you know if some of these Biafrans, especially those in the judiciary section, are contributing in the struggle by, at least by using their offices abroad to support the effort of your client, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
Thank you so much, Mr. Robinson. The questions you asked apparently appears a bit confusing, but I will attempt it in a manner that will do justice to it. First of all, the overwhelming presence of IPOB across the world is a clear message that IPOB is a peaceful movement. And it's also clear indication that IPOB is not a violent movement, violent organization. Recall, I will take you a step further. Recall that sometime in 2017, IPOB here was politically proscribed. I can put it that way, because the order through which the proscribed IPOB was obtained through the back door, and we challenge it. We're still in court of appeal today. So awaiting decision of the court of appeal. So the day in hearing this appeal is apparently occasioned by the federal government inability to respond to the processes filed in court of appeal within time. So we are pressing further to ensure it is hard and possibly disposed of an appeal. There are a lot of interventions by people, erudite scholars across the world who are of Igbo extractions. I'll put it this manner. So they're making their contributions, not financially, but assisting in material-wise, not professionally in the one in which let me put it this way, because I don't want us to discuss our strategies here, all our strategies here, because a lot of people are listening. You can see, of course, you can know, you observe that I'm not participating in video discussion or reasons I believe you should know.
You understand?
So I wouldn't want to go into the merits, otherwise.
You don't have to, sir. If it is not correct, you don't have to. So, right?
Because I can assure you at this point in time that we have people across the world who are into relevant institutions, judicially and all whatnot, who are in one way or the other assisting the legal team tremendously So by through research, but also through legal opinions. And so, and it's helping us in no small measure. That I can confirm to you. And so, and also be take note of the fact that the pressure of IPOB, across the world through their protests, their demonstration, peaceful protest, in demand for the release, immediate unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is impacting positively in what we're doing here. I won't say further than this, but we are making progress. And I must commend those who are helping us in different sectors, different endeavors. So they are doing wonderful. That I can say to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So this is Mirror African Diaspora TV, MAD. So once again, this is the leading media and in representation of African culture and politics. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube to be notified each time we post a new video. Once again, my name is Robinson Ambrose Afam Efuna. Welcome to Mirror African Diaspora. Welcome to the program Think Tank. So the question once again to you, Mr. Starter. Like I've said, so we discussed the issue of what some experts said about the struggle of the IPOB, that the British citizen has to be brought to the awareness of what is going on currently, of the inhuman circumstances that the Biafran has been subject to. And we also agreed to the point that for the plight of the Biafrans to be heard in 1967, it was essentially the British citizen that moved out in the city and started demonstrating, that made it, that changed the game. Also, we must remember to emphasize the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has always maintained and said that, that essentially that the normal British citizen is a good person. I don't know if any of you would remember that, but I do remember he said that his accusation has never been to the citizen, like he had never accused the normal Fulani, rather than those that are killing and maiming his people in Biafra land. He also, I believe, have never accused the normal citizen. He has also said that the government is doing it wrong against the Biafran. So my question, sir, what do you think that the Biafran should do in order to bring this issue, to make the government, the British government change their mind, or at least change their behavior of indolence, their behavior of disinterest? What do you think Biafran should do, in your opinion, sir?
They need to contact their MPs. Because the only way of doing anything to change any sort of government policies in this country is to make MPs aware, whether they're aware now or not, of what's going on. And then the MP will bring that to Parliament and ask questions. Because questions need to be asked. Because questions need to be asked as to why, one, a genocide in a Commonwealth country is being allowed to take place with no broadcast, no mention through the media whatsoever. And secondly, the extraordinary rendition of one of its own citizens, no one knows. Do the MPs know? Don't know. The MPs and Parliament will know on whatever information Catriona Lang is given to the British people or to the British Parliament. To the Foreign Secretary, a new Foreign Secretary now, which is Liz Truss. Does she know? How much does she know?
So the demonstration, so the demonstration alone is not enough.
A demonstration is good if you involve everybody in it. The problem is, if you have a demonstration of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 Biafrans, to the normal person on the street, the normal white British person, what does that represent to them? That's the problem. So all Biafrans in the UK, they need to raise awareness. They need to raise awareness when they're at work. They must work with white people. They must talk to white people. Make them aware. Don't they? Sometimes it can be very, very difficult through whether they're embarrassed by what's happening, whether, you know, they don't feel they're in the right place to say something, but make people aware of it. Write to your local paper, write to your local radio station. A lot of radio stations are independent. They don't belong to the BBC. They don't belong to the mainstream. Talk to them. Let them know what's going on. Because you won't get anything from the actual government. You won't get anything from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office whatsoever. So you need the MPs to ask questions of the government, of the Prime Minister, of the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office. You know, if you're put in a position as the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Minister and you don't talk about what's going on in a Commonwealth country, what sort of position's that? You know, how can you put a blanket smokescreen over everything and not give information out? It's totally wrong. But as I said before, the truth will come out, and the truth will come out when normal Biafrans, British citizens, get in touch with their MP and ask that question. They have to respond to your questions.
Yeah,
they have to. That's a parliamentary rule. They have to, but you have to write to the MP in your constituency. You have to do that. You've got a classic example. You've got Harriet Harman.
Yeah.
Harriet Harman, who's the MP for Camberwell and Peckham, the constituency that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes from. She hasn't said a word.
Okay.
How can you get a member of parliament who, when one of your own constituents is extraordinary rendition, tortured for 8 days, and still illegally held in custody, and you don't say anything?
I asked this question, sir, because I wanted to create a connection between the question I asked the barrister previously, which I tried to find out if there are Biafrans working on the level basis that they're trying to help on the work they are doing at home, because these guys, barrister and his colleague, they are doing tremendous work. And I believe that, like you've just pointed out, the demonstration alone cannot bring the required effect. But this issue of going to the PM is very essential. And the moment they are involved in the issue, in the affair, with much more question, with penetrating question, I think it might change the dance and the music of the whole struggle. So, having said this, I would like to go to your colleague Mazi Kanu. That might be perhaps our last question, actually. And my question is this, sir. I would like to draw your attention to the ongoing discussion about Ojo's Okalo's visit to Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS dungeon. This visit has been completely discredited by Barrister Ejiofor and yourself. However, one statement that has made wave on the internet seems to be the question Senator Kalu asked Nnamdi Kanu, and this question is, why did he leave his home in Afaruku village after the invasion of the Nigerian army in 2017? Sir, what do you have to say about this question?
Thank you for that very question. For him to have asked such question means that he knew what happened in 2017. Because asking that question means that he was part of the people that planned the assassination of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Not only that, to assassinate the whole family of the Kanus. Because he ought to have known in the first place what that meant. But it's very unfortunate that such people are being called senators. These are senators in Zulu, in that contraption called Nigeria. It's shameful, because such people are not supposed to be in that position. Not too well that he was once the governor of other states. He looted at the state treasury. And by now, he's supposed to be in detention. He's supposed to be in jail, serving life imprisonment. But they didn't allow him. They just allowed him to come out. He went to prison. He went to DSS. He saw Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, came out. He was talking nonsense, like somebody that took block. In the first place, I saw what he wrote and what he's talking. But it's very unfortunate that Nigeria won't come out and talk about elitism. It's just like children who are in the Western world who are doing just level 4 and 5 in the school. This same man went and brought somebody. I was going through the media today in Punch newspaper. I saw a person he rated, a journalist called Idamina Bere, writing nonsense, talking about what Kanu told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to remember about what happened during 1966 coup. It's very laughable. Why are they talking about these things? Now it comes to coup of 1966, they will remember that Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu is a Biafra. But if it has nothing to do with Biafra, they will remember that they're from Delta and from Niger Delta. That is very, very laughable. They should as well remember that what happened, like they're accusing these same people of war, they should forget that that was something they refused to implement. The program, they started killing Igbos as far back as in the 1914 up to this very time. And the issue was for them to go out and discuss a better way to move Nigeria forward. They've forgotten to talk about Aburi Accord. They refused to talk about it. But in this case, this fool, I don't know where it's coming from, is coming right in junk about Orji's account. You cannot protect someone who is a criminal. This man is not supposed to be part of the ruling government. But because in Nigeria, everyone works in Nigeria. So any idiot can come out, you can kill, you can do the treasure, you come back, and people will vote you. Tomorrow will be addressed as anything. From my own opinion, from what I think, these are disgrace. These people, more especially Orji Kanu, is a disgrace to those people that believe in one Nigeria. I don't believe in that one Nigeria. I was never born as a Nigerian. I was born as a Biafran. So when they talk about these people, they are very, very disgusting. The first thing they should be talking about is the problem affecting the people of the Southeast. That is the key thing. But if he refused to talk about it, he was talking about irrelevant things. That tells you that he's daft in the brain, that he is not normal. So essentially, you are saying that Orji Kanu asked the wrong question. He should have asked, why did the Nigerian army invade your brother's home? That should have been the question. Is that what you're saying, sir? Absolutely, that would have been the question. He knew very well. Everybody in Southeast, all of them that participated, check out the ex-governors of other states, from Orji Kanu to T.O.G. to President President Okezi Bazu. All of them are one and the same thing. This orchestrated by Okezi Bazu, he was the one that brought in Nigerian military, paid them with the state's money, kept them everywhere to invade my home. They were all aware of it. These people were all aware of it. He's not asking why they run away. They should not forget that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went on involuntary exile because his life was threatened. He was due to go to court. Okay. In September, before they invaded our home, what was the reason for them to do that? Because they wanted to kill him. This is Nigerian state. And that is why I am very, very upset where those of them who claim to be ambassadors, the high commissioners to Nigeria are, because they are misleading the British people. You asked Mr. Starter one question before. I can tell you, I've lived in UK. The UK people are very wonderful people. They are conscientious human beings. But where we have problems are where the politicians are. Not a common UK citizen now. They are wonderful people. This is what it is. So, but if this woman could go back and give them the message of what was happening, there won't be issues. The former ambassador who was there, the UK High Commission, when my house was raided, was awkward. What did he do? He swept everything under the carpet. Because all of them, serving in Nigeria, all the whole farmers, the moment they get into Nigeria, they are being a package of $1 million. So you don't see, you don't talk. That is why Nigeria remains the way it is today. And Nigeria cannot succeed. The only way Nigeria can succeed is only when the people come out and look at themselves in the face and say, hey, things are not moving the way it is. That is the only time we move forward. But as long as we are relying waiting for masters to determine if we have to live or die, things can never be the same. They can accuse us the way they want. They can say everything they want to say. That is entirely their own business. Because in the last days, you can hear in the newspaper, they attach it to IPOB ESN. What are they trying to achieve? We know how they operate. When they start these things, this propaganda, they are creating ways for themselves. So that when they strike, they will say, after all, we've been talking about it in the newspaper. This is how they operate. I understand it, and every person who is a good student of Nnamdi Kanu, a good student of Radio Biafra, we all must have to understand this. This is the way they operate. They bring their soldiers in Biafra land who are killing and pointing fingers on Biafrans. They're pointing fingers on ESM who don't even live in the streets. Rather, they live in the forest. These are people they are pointing fingers on. Yesterday, the Senate of Imo State, being led by Hope Uzodinma, they went and kidnapped Chinese foreigners. What are they trying to do? To say that it's Biafrans that did that. We knew. And we've never bring the world to notice that what's happening in Biafra land has nothing to do with Biafra. It has to do with those people, the Fulani people, who are conscious, who think about themselves, who want to colonize our land. And that is one thing we will not allow to happen. We suffer and we'll keep suffering. And if they don't change it, we are not going to stop. We take our ground. No inch of will be given to the Fulanis from Sahel. It will not happen.
All right, sir. Before we get, we're almost to the end of this program. I still want to say something concerning your person. I think it must be a big a struggle for you as a brother of Nnamdi Kanu at the same time as IPOB member. You are, I mean, what your family is going through this moment. I mean, I can't just imagine it. How do you handle it, sir? I mean, it's a heavy stuff to go through. How do you get along with this as a human being?
We are being driven based on what is happening. We lost our parents because of this very thing. I was a witness in 2017, watched so many people killed, watched so many people died in my presence. And these are people who are not supposed to die, but we could not help them because there was no way to transport them out. I was in a car with a young man. The Nigerian military took him away. Up to today, nobody saw him. This man was married, had 2 children. Even at that time, the wife was pregnant for the third child. Sometimes when I sit down and look back and think about all these things, I said, no, I can't stop. I cannot stop. What we said is either we get Biafra or we die getting Biafra. That is the only thing that is driving us. And that is the only thing that drives me today. And the hardcore Biafrans know that very well. We will not change. It's only either we get Biafra or we die getting Biafra. Because what we are living now is not life anymore. We are not living anymore. We are dead people walking. Any person claiming to be living must be deluded.
Thank you, sir. What do you have to
and we'll continue doing what we have to do?
What do you have to tell to your viewers concerning the unity that they need in order to get through? That's your last word, sir. We are closing. What do you have to tell?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You get the unity of IPOB. IPOB is one family and there is not one family. It doesn't matter what is happening. We are not fighting.
All right.
It's only people. Sometimes, in life, some people want to show what they can do. But at the end of the day, they will try and they will still come back to join the queue.
So it's a brother's issue.
We have one structure. Yes, of course, it's a family issue.
All right.
We have one issue. It's a family issue.
All right.
So it's not something that needs to be discussed anywhere. It's a family issue. When we have problems, it's between us, and we know how to handle it. But for now, there is only one structure, there is only one command, and there is only one IPOB. That is how it is. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I will have you last, Barrister, to conclude the whole thing. If you are still there, I hope you are still there. So, Mr. Starter, your last word for this for today's conference. You are a British citizen. You have said a lot of things concerning how this struggle should be moved to get the Britons, the citizens involved. So, what's your last word for those Biafrans in UK? What they should do in order to get the citizens involved? Our topic today has to do more with escalating, not just talking, but also involvement of the international people into the Biafran struggle, how it works and what should be done. So what is your take, sir?
I would just emphasize what I said before with all Biafrans in the UK to petition their MP.
Okay.
If they don't hear anything from their MP, then go outside their office.
Okay.
Go outside their office and don't move until they listen to you. Protest, 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 but protest to the MPs, protest to Parliament. Make people aware. Make your white friends aware, your white people in your neighborhood. Make them aware what's going on because they don't know. They genuinely don't know. And to all IPOB all over the world, the magnificent job that you're doing, never, ever relent because Biafra will come.
Thank you, sir.
Whether they like it or not.
Thank you for your strength. It reminds me of the fight of during the slave trade. It was the worst thing, the most dramatic thing that ever happened on earth is slave trade. And then it was perpetrated against the black people by the white. But then we also have to remember that slave trade was not abolished not only by the strength of the black people, but also by the whites. So the type of effort you bring, I do commend you, and I thank you very much for the strength you invest in fighting for Biafran. Thank you very much, Mr. Starter, a political activist from the UK. Thank you very much for coming on our platform, Miro African Diaspora TV, live on Facebook. And Mr. Uchenna Obila, your last word, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. Almighty Chukwu Kiabiama that we worship. In case you don't know, he is the creator of heaven and earth. That is, in our language, we call him Chukwu Kiabiama. I am saying this for you to understand, Mr. Shatta. So, to the whole world, I just want to say, Biafrans all around the whole world, keep on doing what you're doing. It may seem that what we are doing is not paying any, is not yielding any fruits. It may seem that what we are doing is not making any wave. Do not allow what they are doing to deceive you. Remember, the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, they vote out so much money to distract you. They vote out so much so to make you feel the way you're feeling today.
Okay.
I will say, please keep on doing what you're doing. Almighty is in heaven and he is watching. At the end, Biafra shall be ours. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much. That's the last one for the Biafrans out there listening to you. Mazi Obila, thank you very much. And to you, the last word, Honorable Barrister Ejiofor.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. It's a pleasure being with you this evening. This is indeed a very challenging phase and also perilous time indeed. I encourage our people to be very circumspect and tread with caution because a lot is happening behind the scene now. We're receiving updates about people who are being daily abducted in Southeast every day. They're arrested and their whereabouts are unknown. So I advise people to be very careful. And prayers is the most important thing. And let them be assured that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will regain his freedom, will soon be released. That I can assure them because he has committed no offense known to law. He's not being tried for commission of any offense. So they have to get that clear from us. and we're doing all that's permissible within our ethics and laws to ensure that he's released unconditionally. And so I also crave for their prayers in time like this, for their solidarity and moral support, believing God that he shall all end the praises sooner than later. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. My last word still goes to you, sir, Mazi, Mr. Barrister Ejiofor. My last word will go to you. I think that your motivation to study law did not come from the financial motivation. It's more or less about your will to see justice prevail. It doesn't matter if it is to Nnamdi Kanu or any other person. That's what I learned when I did some semesters in law. I think I understood that most people there were there because of their interest in seeing justice. And some of them will leave when they understand that justice does not necessarily mean that you will get it. So I commend you for the good work you are doing, all the threats you have been getting all along. I just can't imagine how you handle those things. You must be a very strong man and a man with good heart. I also want to commend your personality as someone that believes in science and religion. It is not easy to combine both. It shows a good sound mind, a good sense of understanding the different epistemes in which we act as human beings. Thank you very much, sir, for being around. And we hope you will be here next time, any other time it's necessary. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you to all viewers across the world. This is Mirror African Diaspora TV, MAD, live on Facebook. My name is Robinson Afamefuna Ambrose, broadcasting from you from Germany. Thank you very much for listening, and we say goodbye to you all. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube so that you'll be notified anytime we post a new video. Thank you once again, and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Amuna gibili ben Kanu Kamaichama Chineke Yelo Mudafa Godozo Bodani Kamuna gibili ben Nnamdi Kanu Kamaichama Chineke Yelo Mudafa Godozo Bodani Kamuna gibili ben Nnamdi Kanu Kamaichama Chineke Yelo Mudafa Godozo Bodani Kamuna gibili ben Uponu ya Ijuku ya Omume ya Bureni ya Komputa Uponu ya Ijuku ya Bureni ya Komputa Chineke Yelo Mudafa Godozo Bodani Kamuna gibili ben Nnamdi Kanu Kamaichama Chineke Yelo Mudafa Godozo Bodani Kamuna gibili ben Uponu ya Computer. Computer.